welcome back to the Six-Dot Calcio podcast. We'll be once again joined by Danny, Francesco. The guys are here. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
Well, we had an interesting week of Serie A action, of course. So we had the Milan surprise, I guess you can say, Spezia topping them 2-0. Did you guys expect that? I know I didn't.
I expected it.
I didn't expect
that magnitude. No, not that magnitude. I definitely thought Spezia were going to tie or win the game, though.
Yeah, I think it was always a possibility because Spezia's in a good moment, but I didn't expect them to win 2-0 at all. That surprised me.
It shows that Spezia aren't as bad as people think they are.
Yeah, they aren't. They give a lot of top. They're weird. One of those teams where they play terribly against the smaller teams and really well against the big teams. A lot of small teams do it really in the Serie A and other leagues too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely surprising to see them win 2-0 there. I did not expect that at all. We also had Napoli-Juve, which I'm sure we're gonna talk a lot about in this podcast, of course. With Spezia-Milan, we already spoke about that one. Roma-Udinese, I'll break down a bit. I expected it. I did predict 3-0 before the game. I don't know. Against smaller teams, we're a different team. I don't know what's going on. We played prime Barca against smaller teams, and against big teams, I don't even know what we play like.
Benevento.
Yeah, I wish. Maybe we played Benevento, we get a couple of draws against big teams. And Atalanta, they topped Cagliari. Close one there, but they did it. Big 3 points for them, of course. And we also had Inter-Lazio, Inter winning 3-1. That was pretty cool to see. But yeah, before we get into great detail in the other matches, I'm going to just mention some of the scores and outcomes of the other matches that we're not really going to get into too much detail. Bologna drew Benevento. Big point for, to be honest, both sides. Both obviously prefer a win, but a draw's not the end of the world for them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of split even there. Torino-Genoa. I don't know. Torino, I don't know how they only have 2 wins. That really surprises me because we always talk about it. I think every other podcast we just talk about how Torino has so much quality, yet not so much quality. That's a little bit of an overstatement, but they have a good team and they don't get the result they should be getting. But yeah, that's disappointing for them. Genoa, as of late, they've been looking good, and they got a draw against Torino, which once again, it's not good, but it's not bad. I'm sure if you're a Genoa fan, you don't mind that result. We also had on the Sunday, we also had Cagliari-Atalanta. Atalanta, like I said, came away with a 1-0 victory. Massive for them.
Yeah.
With a lot of bigger teams dropping points this week, Atalanta would really want to capitalize, especially with Lazio dropping points. They're very close together. So Muriel saving them there in the final minutes of the match. Very important for them. And Muriel is so clutch. Like this guy, he plays maybe 20, 30 minutes a game, and he always makes an impact. Yeah, he's a super sub. And I think it's fair to argue that he might be the best super sub the city has seen in the last decade. I think it could be fair to say.
I think he's got the most goals from a bench play in the last 2 years. I'm pretty sure, in all of Europe, he's got the most goals off the bench.
I wouldn't be surprised at Samp, at Udinese, now Atalanta, Fiorentina. Fiorentina was alright. It wasn't really the Muriel we used to see, but it wasn't bad. But especially at Samp and Udinese, and now here at Atalanta, he's been scoring, so it's great to see. Sampdoria-Fiorentina, this one surprised me. I thought Fiorentina would come out stronger, and they didn't, and they fell to Sampdoria. And Sampdoria, I think people are overlooking them. They're not as bad as people may seem.
Yeah.
To think they are. They have 9 wins this season. They're doing well. The defense is always good. When you have Ranieri as a coach, you're going to expect to have good defense. That's what he brings. Quagliarella, it's kind of funny to see him still scoring at the age he's at. He won Campo Canoniere not too long ago. Was it 2 years ago now? Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago now. He won Campo Canoniere, top goal scorer.
Not last year, but the year after.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So it's great to see someone like Quagliarella, a player who I think it's fair to say, you guys can disagree, but I think every team's fan base respects him, and everyone loves Quagliarella. He's maybe if you're a Torino fan, actually I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah, Quagliarella's a great guy, and everyone loves him. Crotone-Sassuolo, yeah, he's a good guy. I love Quagliarella, man. Watch him as a kid so often, even at Juve. But Sassuolo 2-1 victory. Oof. It was great to see Caputo bang one in there on the pen.
Yeah.
I don't know Why? My dad was saying he's gonna miss. He's gonna miss. He's gonna miss. He looks nervous. I'm like, nah, he's gonna score. He needs this one.
Caputo's calm as his wine. That's what he is.
Yeah. He's one thing. He's still underrated. Obviously not as good as last year, but he's still playing well. He's not playing bad by any means.
Yeah, it only takes one goal for a striker like him to start banging them in.
Yeah, he's a rhythm striker, I guess it's fair to say, where if he gets a couple good stretches and a couple good games, he just continues it for a while. So
yeah, maybe
this could be the start of that. But yeah, big win for Sassuolo, who's having a great year, a really, really, really good year. And Inter-Lazio, we're going to get into later on. That's one of the bigger games to talk about. And then finally, Verona-Parma, 2-1 for Verona. We have Predictions League, and we got that one right too. Yeah, Juric, everyone knows what I think about him. He's a great manager. And I was glad to see Verona get the win. And Barak, I think, is another player who's underrated. He's been in Serie A for quite a bit now. And he's not amazing. He's not bad. He does more than just his job. He contributes to a pretty, not high level, but a good level. And I think for a team like Verona, having someone like Barak is always a good thing. So it's great to see him producing. But now, boys, I think we all know what we're about to talk about here. We got those matches out of the way. Francesco, Danny, take it off. You got to decide.
You want to start?
No, yeah, I'll start. I can start. So these guys may have heard. I previewed this game with TLN on the halftime show. And obviously you have to have a sense of confidence in your team, especially when Napoli were missing such key aspects in their team. I was going to the game very confident that Juventus is going to get the job done in a timely manner in a very easy game. But it just wasn't the case. I know I recapped it on the podcast last week where I said Gattuso and Napoli are so low, it's hard for them to go even lower. So I feel like they'll be playing for that sense of motivation, and that's exactly what they did. Started off, I would say Juventus and Napoli shared control of the game. And then that penalty incident happened, which in my opinion, I could understand why it was given a penalty. Chiellini's arm was raised over his shoulder, slapped Romani in the face. I could understand why it's given, but on the other side, Chiellini, I don't believe he knew where Romani was. I don't believe he saw that he was behind there, and he was in the motion of jumping. But he checked the VAR, gave the pen, and that was the demise of Juve after that. Because after Insigne scored that pen, obviously good job for Insigne, because the last time he stepped up to take an important pen against Juventus. We all know the result of that one, and lost Napoli the Supercoppa. But he really calmed his head and calmed his nerves down, and really took this pen and essentially led Napoli to the win. Because after that, Juventus just couldn't get through to Napoli. I swear to God, I saw 11 players inside of the penalty box. We just couldn't break them through. They were defending for their lives, and rightfully so. I mean, they're missing such big key players, and when you're facing Juventus, you want that win. So they were defending for their lives, and when you have Bernardeschi for 70 minutes of the game, there's not much you could do here. But once McKennie came on, we saw a little bit of hunger back in the team, and it just wasn't enough. Napoli was so well formatted defensively that we just couldn't break them through. Meret, I don't know this guy. He's shit all the time, and then every time he faces us, he plays like prime Buffon. The guy was making saves in between his legs. I've never seen it before in my life. It was just incredible. He was definitely man of the match, and credit to him. We all know it was just against Juventus, so he's gonna go back to his regular self soon enough. But an unpopular opinion I actually saw on Twitter that I agree with. Obviously, all the Juve fans know Bonucci gets all the hate for Juve. I would say he gets most of the hates when the team loses or if the team plays poorly. But this is a game we needed Bonucci. Chiellini and De Ligt are great center backs, but they're very similar in aspects. They're both go for the ball. They both go for those ugly tackles that always pay off. And Bonucci's not that. He's more classier. He just kind of, he'll miss a tackle here and there, and then he has Chiellini or De Ligt make up for it. But then he'll bring in those killer long balls to space the field out, and that's what we were missing. We just couldn't get the ball up, and when we did, we had Meret just absolutely rob us in a way that you would make a goalie highlight reel every save he made. So, I mean, fair play to Napoli. And hopefully Juve get, wake up from this, because obviously the month of February is over. All our big matches are pretty much done. We still have Napoli, to face at our home. So, hopefully that's a bit better result. And, we gotta start, winning against the smaller teams now to win the Scudetto. But fair play to Napoli. Wouldn't say they deserve the win, but they grinded through the win in a very Allegri-esque, fashion. And I'm glad Juventus could be the charity work once again. Obviously, we saved Ronald Koeman's job at Barcelona, and now we're saving Gattuso's job. So I'm glad we work for the people, and that's all I can say. Danny, take it away.
Yeah, like heading into the match, I wasn't confident at all. Just the way we played that following, say, midweek game against Atalanta, losing Koulibaly and Malas too is a big loss. Those are two guys that you want to have in your back and your defense, especially Koulibaly, since he's a leader in the back and he's also a wall. He's everywhere on the field. But I also said too, I wouldn't be surprised if Napoli get like a 1-0 win, 2-1 win. Because this match reminded me of the match last year when we played you guys in the San Paulo at the time.
Yeah.
And Napoli got the 2-1 win. Napoli were like playing really poor. They didn't have anything going for them. But then once they got that win against Juventus, it seemed like they were heading back on the right track. So hopefully that can happen to Napoli with this win as well. I love the way Gattuso coached. He went to his match. He goes, you know what? If we play the way we can, we're going to lose because we don't have the type of quality players Juve have, especially when we're defending. Because if we play the way we usually play, I think Juve could have won just because of the way our defense defend. But against Juve, we played a similar style to the way Allegri played for played for a few years with Juve. And we cut off passing lanes. We did excellent job defending. Did well on the counterattack. But that was amazing. I gotta give Maximovic and Romani a lot of credit too. Those guys, they had a disaster game against Atalanta, but stepped up big here for Juve. Just like the way we played. I love the way Lozano hustled. Hopefully his injury is not as bad as it looked. I think he might be out a few weeks, but this guy put in a shift and a half, and he even played, I think I was going to say like maybe 2-3 minutes with like a hamstring injury, which is something you don't see often. You don't see players telling the coach, no, I don't want to leave the match. I want to finish it. So credit to him, credit to the whole team. Just a surprise performances as well from a few players that usually don't play well, like say Rui, Maximovic. Those guys, they played with their hearts. They played for Gattuso. And it was also nice to see when the final whistle blew, the team coming together, hugging Gattuso. So hopefully this is the beginning of something good for us. I know I say all the time, Napoli win, and I end up getting disappointed. But hopefully they play for Juve. They play for Gattuso's job, and they just play for the city right now because we need. That's the only thing Napoli look forward to every week. They look forward to their soccer team. And just hopefully we can end the season on a great note.
Well, boys, well said. Danny, you should be really proud of your Napoli. Considering the circumstances, people out, and everything's going around the team to get a win against Juve was huge. And Juve was also in a good moment. They've been playing well, so it was great to see Napoli get a win there. And it was kind of nice seeing Insigne score that pen after what happened in the Supercopa. That was nice to see as well.
Yeah, that was. You could tell like he felt something come off his back after that goal.
Yeah, and definitely.
Because it looked like he wasn't himself, but a goal like that could really change the way he plays. And we need these guys now because we have a lot of injuries. We have, I think, only 12 senior players in our squad heading into the Europa League match, and we need guys like Insigne, say Politano, Osimhen now to step up, fill in the shoes that we're missing, and get the results that we need.
Yeah, definitely. Napoli's in a tough situation right now, but if they play like they did against Juve, I'm sure they can find themselves in a good spot at the end of it when everyone comes back. Now moving on here, Spezia-Milan. I think we've all been waiting for this one as well. It's a surprising one. Francesco, he knows the future, so he wasn't surprised at all, this guy, but I know we were pretty surprised then, but what happened here? Do you want to start off, Dan, with Spezia's upset?
Yeah, it's just what a performance by them. Throughout the whole year, it seems like Italiano's got the boys going. For me, I think he's a solid coach. He's a coach that you can tell he loves what he's doing, and you can tell that the players like him too. They always play for him. They play hard every game, no matter if they're playing Verona, playing Torino, or if they're playing Napoli, Milan, or Roma, I'd say too. They always play hard. They got some good players too, like Angadello's a good player. He's very good with the ball. They were also missing their top goal scorer, Nizola too. That match, and they still found a way to win. They're a good side that you could tell that they like playing for each other, and they just so what I'm looking for. They just play hard every game. They don't give up. Hopefully they can stay in Serie A, because I like teams like that. I like teams like, especially small teams, who they don't go like they don't give up against the big teams. They want to prove it to them every week, and I'm impressed with even Bastoni too, the left back. I feel like he's a solid left back. He's a left back that I could see him staying in the Serie A for a while. He's only 23, and there's some good players in this team. And if Spezia could get some help next year, like say with the player, like they could sign a few players that could fit their system, who knows? This team could be maybe a top 10 team, maybe even top 15 next year as well. They're just a fun side to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised. For Milan, if you're a team that wants to win the Scudetto, obviously it's a game you need to win. It's kind of unfair on them to be like, oh, you have to win every game, because that's kind of what people expect of you once you're doing like so well and you had such a good start. Yeah. But it is true though, if you want to win the Scudetto, you need to win almost every game, and obviously it's tough to win the Scudetto. So what can you do? This happens. It's happened to Juve many times in the past when they won. They've dropped multiple points to small teams. It happens. But Milan, they have the derby this weekend. That's a game that they really, really need to win that one, because they can pass Inter while also, just gaining points. So it always means more when you're winning the Scudetto, when you beat teams who are near you in the standings, because it pushes them back while you go forward. So it's always a big game. Yeah. I kind of feel like they might draw. I don't know why. I have a feeling they're going to draw, but
I feel like the winner.
I pray for the draw.
I feel like the winner of the derby this week could be the potential winner of the Scudetto, because it's just a huge match at this time.
Yeah, definitely.
It's true. It's always good, and it's always good too to have the head-to-head over, say, a Milan, say, like whoever wins. It's always good to have the head-to-head as well. It's gonna be an interesting end to this, like, final stages of the season.
Yeah, it's a very fun season this year. A lot of teams are close in points, from like one from first all the way maybe like sixth, around there, fifth maybe. It's pretty close, so it's a good year to watch. And we're only 6 points behind first. Obviously, I'm not saying Roma's going to win. We're not. But it's kind of funny to see how people want Fonseca out and we're only 6 points away from first.
Yeah, I think we're maybe 9 or 10 points behind, and look at us.
Yeah, you're not far behind at all either, so it's a fun year, definitely, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the second half of the year. For Milan, like I said, disappointing. They underperformed. You can kind of tell from the beginning of the game they weren't really in it. Like, mentally, they just looked like, I don't know if it was exhausted. I don't know what it was, maybe mental fatigue. I'm not sure, but they did not look like they were going to win this match from the start, in my opinion anyways. That's what I saw. For Spezia, massive win for them, massive win. I thought they were going to have a terrible year. I picked them to get relegated, so
yep,
they really surprised all of us. Look at Francesco. I told you, this guy predicts these things. He knows everything.
Have to make a bang after he has them all.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah,
that's your makeup call from Massimo.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done to Spezia, and Milan have a chance for redemption this weekend against Inter. Francesco, what do you think about the match and the result?
As you guys all know, I knew Spezia. I feel like Spezia is going to be the team to dethrone Milan if there was any small team to do it. Spezia was at home. Obviously, no other fixture, Milan just destroyed them. Like Enzo said, it was mental fatigue for Milan. I said this on the Culture Tears podcast that I have with Lazio Close and Elliot, but Milan have a good team. They really do. On paper, they have a fantastic team. They have a team that has potential to win the Scudetto, but they don't have a bench. You have a 39-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic who is incredible, but he's also playing week in, week out. He's barely getting any rest. On the bench, I don't see anyone other than Mandzukic that's going to come in, step in, and help this Milan team out. And I think that's the problem. And when we're starting the second half of the season, like we're kind of just like raising the second half of the season now. Milan has Europa League to play. They have a lot of hard games coming up for them in their schedule. This is where they're going to start dropping points. And everyone was on the hype train for Milan at the beginning of the season because they were winning all these games because they were fresh. Now that they're tired, they have a lot more games coming up, a lot more trickier games coming up. Players are going to start taking blows and hits. They're going to be tired. There's going to be injuries. And that's when you're going to see Milan go into a slump and go possibly, who knows, based on how close the Serie A is, they could possibly miss out on top four if they continue playing the way they did. It's a lot of Milan fans want to be optimistic and say it was only one game. To be fair to them, it was only their third loss, the other two coming from Atalanta and Juve. But like Enzo said, the way they played from the start, they looked off. Something didn't click. And if they continue, especially against Inter, they will not only lose to Scudetto, but lose out in Champions League. And I'm very proud for Spezia. Obviously, after the Juve loss, I needed Spezia to win, but I also needed Lazio to win. And when we talk about that, the sorry excuses of a Serie A team, we'll get into that. But for now, Spezia got a big win for them and a big win for Juventus. Obviously, the black and white stay together, and that's what happened.
Yeah, definitely big win. And, yeah. I don't know what else to say here. If Spezia keep this up, then they might dethrone Milan and become Scudetto winners. Who knows? Just to clarify, when you said, just to clarify, when you said dethrone, you meant beat them, not win the Scudetto, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not winning the Scudetto, guys. Relax, listen. But they're not winning the Scudetto. But I wouldn't put it past them a top 10 finish. They're a couple of points behind, like 6 points. I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, you never know. They might come from behind and win the whole thing. Yeah, it's possible. Definitely.
I wouldn't go that far, but
they'll pull a Leicester next year. They'll win next year.
Oh, that'll be crazy. Imagine Randy goes to Spezia.
I basically meant, guys, that like Spezia is going to be one of the key reasons why Milan don't win the Scudetto. And Milan fans are going to look back at this game and start crying.
Spezia made a lot of teams cry this year, so.
Yep.
I
think that was the first one.
Too. Yeah. We lost in the Copa, but if we lost in the Serie A, I don't know what I would have done. Our streak against small teams would have been over. But that's the only thing keeping us afloat right now. And speaking about Roma-Udinese, this was a pretty interesting game going into it. Udinese has been in a good moment. As you guys know, they've been playing well. Pereira was out, and De La Feu, they've been forming a pretty good partnership up there. Throughout the match, Llorente to me was a ghost. I forgot he was even playing at some points. But he's older now, you know how it is. But yeah, I thought he'd make maybe a little bit more of an impact for them. But yeah, I'm really proud of the team, how they came out. Udinese is not an easy team to beat at all at the moment. They're very tough. What I'm most proud of is our defense. Cristante, who is not a natural center back, has been filling in for that role this year whenever we need him, and he's been stepping up, and he's been doing really, really good. He's one of our better players, except for that one error that would have made a couple meme videos if they ended up scoring there. But thank God Paulo Lopez saved us there on that breakaway. But I'm very proud of the team when they came out. Mancini, I keep harping on it every week. Mancini is becoming a leader of this team, and I can't get over how good he's been this year. He's been our most consistent player by far, Against Juve, he was our best player. Again, every big game, he's been our best player. Inter, he scored the header as well. He's our best player that game. He's been great to watch, Mancini, and I'm really glad to see him start to grow and become the player we were hoping he'd become. And when he first came to Roma from Atalanta, he was very raw in talent. He didn't play much for Atalanta in the second half of the year. And it seems like Atalanta's giving us gems here. We got Ibanez and Mancini from them for not much. So, yeah, I'm happy to see Mancini grow. Paul Lopez, no comment. He got a clean sheet, second one in 13 games, I think. So, he gives me a heart attack every time the ball is even near him. So, yeah, we're in talks to get one Musso. Apparently, we have a gentleman's agreement. I don't really value that too much. We'll wait in the summer. We'll see what happens. But, one Musso, yeah, it'd be a really good pickup. Really love one Musso. So, yeah, not much to say about this game, honestly. I'm really happy. Mayadal, he didn't score, but, they expect a goal every game from him. He's doing his job to create space. Yeah, he did what he had to do. He didn't do anything wrong. I was really happy with how he played. I feel like when he's in there, our attack is more fluid. When Dzeko's in there, it kind of stalls a little bit, kind of slow, and he kind of gets in the way of Mkhitaryan and Pellegrini and everyone attacking. It's a mess when he's in there sometimes, Dzeko. So I'm really happy to see Mayral play within the attack, and he showed that even if he's not scoring, he can still be good use. So yeah, I was happy to see that. Mkhitaryan's Mkhitaryan. He's class. Veretout has 9 goals this season in the Serie A.
Oh, that's true.
So, and he's not even an offensive midfielder. He's defensive. He sits back a lot. He's a box-to-box mid. He doesn't shoot much either. I know a lot of them are pens, but it's still not easy to score a pen. But he scored a lot of goals that aren't pens. And the header he scored was a great run from behind. Great ball from Mancini, who was on the wing for some reason. But it was a nice ball in. It was the left foot as well. So, great goal there. Pedro came on for like 5 minutes and scored a banger, top corner. Musso couldn't do much about that one. He couldn't do much about any goal, to be honest. A penalty, a header from 1 yard out, and a shot from like 10 yards out, top corner. He's not going to do much, Musso. But yeah, happy with the team. Proud of them. Now we got the Europa League on Thursday. I'm not sure when I'm dropping this episode. Might be listening to it the day Roma plays or a couple hours before. But yeah, happy, and we'll move on and hopefully we'll continue it on to Benevento. Now moving on here from Roma. We got the final game we're really going to talk about here. Inter-Lazio. Francesco, want to start it off?
Yeah. Obviously after that Juve, unfortunate game, really needed Spezia to win. They got the job done. And then next came up the Inter-Lazio. Before the game, I was expecting a draw. I thought Lazio had a quality enough, especially when you're a team playing in the Champions League, round of 16, when your opponent didn't even qualify for the Europa League. You would hope that the team you're facing has quality enough to at least get a point against Inter. It just wasn't the case. Lazio looked like a bunch of lost puppies on the field. They didn't take control at all. They got that goal, that reassurance goal that brought a little glimmer of hope back into my life and the many Juventini and Laziale's life, but it wasn't enough. And Inter punished them. Lukaku's Lukaku. The guy's an animal. What can you do? Obviously, when Lukaku faces us, he disappears because we know how to defend quality players. I think Lazio defensively, they don't know how to defend players like Lukaku, and it really shows that Inzaghi needs to start doing his homework. But for the most part, Inter deserved that win, 100%. Lautaro Martinez, that guy, he makes me hate him more and more every game. He scores a tap-in that Lukaku did all the work, and he was celebrating like he scored some bicycle kick goal to win the World Cup or something. Obviously, when you're scoring an important goal for your team, and I think everyone in that locker room knew the magnitude that if they win the game, they're top of the table. So I understand the celebration, but at the same time, like Lautaro, you're scoring a tap-in that essentially meant nothing. I mean, you go celebrate with the team, celebrate with the coach all you want, but at the end of the season, that's going to go bite you in the ass when you're not Grand Scudetto winners. But I think Inter deserved this, and it just another step for further from Juventus, and hopefully we could catch up. But Lazio, they're not looking too good ahead of their Bayern game. So let's see how they respond in Champions League. And Inter, they're just sipping pina coladas out there in Serie A because they don't have any European competition to worry about, like Juve, like Milan, like Roma, like Napoli, and like Lazio.
Chat, how bad do you want Inter fans to attack you?
And listen, I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. Listen, at the end of the season, if the Inter win, it's not going to look too good for me. But I don't deal with this. I don't deal with this. And when Juventus win the Scudetto at the end of the year, these Inter fans, all the hate they give me at the middle of the season, it's going to mean fuck all, because Juventus will win the Scudetto. And they're going to be crying, saying, "Oh, another year we choked. Oh, Conte out. Conte out."
Okay. I think we're gonna cut it at that for Francesco. We're gonna cut his mic.
Cut his Wi-Fi too.
Yeah, when we host a watch along, we'll make sure Francesco's not there. Don't worry, Inter fans. We'll ban him from the venue. This guy's a psychopath. If you're on good Francesco, I think he might not end up alive again. My God. Well, interesting take there for Francesco. Just taunting Inter fans.
Very interesting.
Heading to the match, Inter obviously saw that Milan dropped points, and they were like, okay,
and Juve.
Oh, and Juve, But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to going first and hopping Milan, they said, okay, these guys lost points, big opportunity for us. Let's try and get a win here, and they did. Lazio, their defense isn't the best. I think a lot of people know that. You have a guy named Hoedit, probably my most favorite player. He's Dutch and he plays for Lazio, so he's not one of my favorite players. If you couldn't guess already, but Lazio obviously has some glaring issues. Their bench depth is terrible, maybe one of the worst out of the top 8. It's horrendous, and something they've struggled with for a while now. The defense, they don't really have anyone that stands out to you that says, wow, this guy is class. They really just value their ball movement and their attacking play, because they're decent at that, but when it comes to defending, they aren't the best. Inter, you gotta be happy with Lukaku. Lukaku is a sensational player, and any team where you're lucky to have a player like that. Yeah, honestly. Definitely a top 5 striker in the world, maybe top 3. It's just a shame that Inter don't do well in the Champions League. I'd really like to see him go further in the Champions League and see what he can do against really, really, really big sides, but maybe like on a square off against Bayern, but obviously Bayern's quality compared to Inter is not even close. So, But if Inter was a stronger team and they competed against Bayern and see Lewandowski against Lukaku, that'd be great to see. But that's not really the case right now, even though Inter spent a lot of money. But Lukaku, Inter fans, appreciate him while you have him, because I would love to have a player like that on my team. Just have a world class player.
Easily. He's different level.
Then you got Barella. Barella. He's
the guy's incredible
player. I think they got him for what? 50 mil? They got him for 50 mil.
Something like that, like 40 maybe, like something like that, like something.
I think it was 50 mil. I remember we offered 45. We got rejected, but he wanted to play for Conte. I know that, but Ella really wanted to play for Conte, so that was a deciding factor for him. But to have players like that on your team is always going to be good. Lautaro finally scored. Not finally scored, but he's finally starting to pick it up now when it comes to goal scoring. If you're an Inter fan, I'd really like to get an Inter fan on here and ask them if they regret not selling Lautaro to Barca for 110 mil, because...
Oh, they must. I don't care how stupid the Inter fans are. I don't think anyone can. 100 million for Lautaro, that's... I would have drove a Lautaro to the airport myself, and I'm a Juventini. That's just... I don't know.
I'll answer this more proper, I think just for the money, you have to. Any player, you get 100 million, unless it's like Messi, like De Bruyne, Ronaldo, say whatever, like a top player that it's not replaceable. Easily, you should have sold them for 100 million. It's a player like Martinez. You know who you could have got? Could have got maybe a world class center back, another world class midfielder, a striker who's good, just as good as Martinez. There's so many options for 100 million, especially nowadays. You don't have to just get the best players. You can get a lot of good players that can help upgrade the squad.
Yeah, I really like to talk to an Inter fan, and yeah, sorry, we cannot plug Francesco's mic. We're not in the same room. We're on Skype, so and maybe when quarantine's done, if he starts talking about Inter, we'll give him a slap in the back of the head. But yeah, until then, you're gonna have to deal with him. Yeah, I don't want to go on and on about it, but yeah, great win for Inter. For Lazio, disappointing, not the end of the world, but disappointing result. Dan, you want to top it off for this match?
Yeah, it's just Inter showed that they're not giving up on the Scudetto. They're now, I think they're first place now. Yeah, by a point or two. So a big win for them. And just again going back to Lukaku, this guy, for me, he's the MVP of the league. Like he's probably Inter's most valuable player. You see games where Lukaku's off and where he's not playing that Inter don't look the same. But when Lukaku's in the lineup, this team is a different team, and I think they can beat anyone in Serie A when Lukaku's in the lineup. That's how good and that's how big of an impact he's making. He makes for Inter and stuff. And going back to Lazio, again, guys, Immobile didn't show up in the big game. So for me, as an Italian who expects him to be on the team, this is not good because in the Euros, big games, you need a guy like an Immobile to step up. But I'm going to give Milinkovic-Savic credit. He was probably Lazio's best player on the field. He was very good this game. I like the way he played. He even got the goal just to give Lazio hope in this match. But at the end of the day, Inter showed their class, and Lukaku just was Lukaku, and there's not enough you can say about him. This guy does everything you want him to do, and it's a big win for Inter. Inter fans should be happy right now. Let's see if they can carry their first place all the way to the end of the year.
Yeah, well said by Danny. That really wraps up all of our matches we're going to talk about here. Quick disclaimer, the Juve-Porto match has not taken place yet as we're recording. It takes place in about an hour and 40 minutes. So, we're not going to be talking about that one. Obviously, Europa League matches, Roma, Napoli-Milan, those haven't happened yet either. You're probably listening to this before those matches anyway, so you know that. But anything else, boys, before we top it off here?
Yeah, Enzo, I have a great story for you, buddy. I don't know how reliable this is. I don't know how if this is gonna happen. But I was reading some reports. Lazio broke some COVID-19 protocols, and they might give Torino and Juventus some points because of Lazio breaking the rules there.
Yeah, I read those, and if you guys have been listening to this podcast, you know I called this like 4 months ago.
Those dirty rats. They're going to get punished, those dirty rats. Juve plus 2 points. We're coming for the Scudetto, you Interisti. We're coming for you fuckers.
Yeah, I think I brought up 4 months ago. I sent a podcast that I suspect that Lazio is doing something behind the scenes, and it looks like I'm right if it's true that these reports are valid. I don't want to comment on them yet because I think it's better we wait till something's more reliable comes out.
Wait till the official thing comes out.
But if it is right, you guys can go ahead and listen to the podcast from 4 months ago. I'm not sure which one it was, but if you find that you can hear me clearly talking about, I suspect Lazio's up to something. And not the first time, so I'm not surprised by a team that's run by a word I'm not going to use. But Lotito, you know what you're doing, buddy. And it wasn't really hard to. If a guy from Toronto here sitting on my ass can suspect what you're doing, I'm sure a league full of professionals can find out what you're doing. So I'll leave it at that.
And also other news. I don't know if it's big news or if it's just news in general. Rafael Toloi has got his Italian citizenship, so he's now able to be called up for Italy.
Fortunate for him.
So that's just some news that just came out right now. I'm just seeing it right now as we speak.
That'd be great. I like Toloi. He wouldn't start, I don't think, but he'd be a good player to have.
It's better than a few other guys who were thinking about calling off.
Yeah, he'd be a good option to have, of course. I really like Toloi. He played for Roma for a bit too. He's a great player to have.
Speaking of call-ups, Dan, you said Immobile isn't stepping up to the big games, but you know who did step up to the big game? Moise Kean. He embarrassed those Spanish fucks, Barcelona. It was an Italian masterclass. Verratti, an amazing assist. Florenzi, I mean, Ter Stegen and Florenzi, they just don't get on well. Obviously, that Enzo, you would know more about this, but that amazing halfway goal. I mean, I think Ter Stegen saw Florenzi's like, oh fuck, not this guy again. He played a wonderful pass. Florenzi assists, Verratti assists, and a Moise Kean goal to embarrass Barcelona and essentially knock them out of the Champions League. So we're rooting for the Italians, and I think he deserves to be called up, scoring in the Champions League against I mean, on paper a big team, but retrospect a very small team.
Yeah, of course, it was nice to see a goal and 2 assists from the Italians in a big stage match like that. But yeah, let's not get into that one either. Francesco today's looking for to beat everyone in sight.
Come for me, lads. Anyone, anytime.
Luckily, Napoli won, Dan, or else he'd probably be unleashing on you too right now. So.
Dan, if Napoli would have won it, this part it would have been over. Napoli won had to humble me a bit.
We had to grab the leash and pull it back.
Napoli winning had to humble me a bit.
Okay. All right. Well,
you. Not humble. Sport you.
We're gonna wrap this one up. We appreciate all the support. We'll be back next week as always. Thanks for listening. Ciao.
Have a good one, guys.